Happy Friday, everybody. Can't believe week 46. I've only got 5 more flags to go. Well done if you're keeping up with everything that's going on. We're heading into busy bee season, so I thought, right, we'll do a bee. We're going to use a satin stitch or a fill-in stitch to create a little bumblebee on our flag this week. So all you need to do is gather together some coloured threads. So you're going to need a little bit of a white or an off-white, obviously black and yellow, and a bit of a grey, and a background. So what I did was I drew on a bit of paper a little bumblebee, and what I might do is take a picture of this and pop it on the post, so that if you want to trace it off or whatever, you can do. But it's really made up of just little segments, and then we're going to put like some little French knots dashing around it. If you want to do a little one with a little bit of a flower on there, that's perfectly fine. But I thought that's what I'm going to do, and I just wanted a plain background, so I've just got a little bit of an old, I think it's the edge of a tablecloth or something, and I just either use a light box or hold that up at a window, and you'll be able to just trace off the basic shapes. So what we're going to do is you're going to start on his bottom with a little bit of white, because what we're going to do is overlay our stitches and build it up, so that creates sort of like a little bit of a fluffy texture. So starting at his bottom, you could put this in a hoop. I was going to put it in a hoop, but then I found this lovely little bit of fabric, and I just thought, oh, I quite like that. I don't really want to put it in a hoop. So if you're not working in a hoop, you just need to be really careful with your tension so that you don't pull it too tight. And this is going to be a little bit of a labour of love, because it's the same stitch. Quite a nice one to do on an evening. Get something on the telly, have a listen to something, podcast, cup of tea, and just keep stitching. There. Start off with a few stitches at the bottom, and a satin stitch really is just straight stitches, and you just use them to fill them in. Normally you do a satin stitch one after another, but I don't really want to do that. I want to leave little gaps in between, because what we want to be able to do is when we start with our next colour is you're going to start filling it in then. Picking up bits of fluff. Where's that come from? No idea. So we don't really need that much white. It's just a tiny little bit on his booty. So I hope everybody's okay. Surviving the weather and the dark evenings. I wish they'd stop doing this, moving the clocks. It just makes your days feel a lot shorter. I know it's nice having daylight and stuff in the morning, and I know why they did it, because it was like for the farmers and stuff like that. But it just makes you a bit fed up when you come out of work and it's still dark. Right, so I think that might be enough on his bum. I'll hold this up in a second so you can see how much I've done. Just tie that off at the back. So I was using a perlé thread for that one. Then I have got an anchor perlé, slightly thicker one for my yellow, and for my black I'm using a stranded cotton, but I've also got a perlé just in case I decide that I want to use that as well. So there we go, you can see the little bit there on his bum, and pick up my yellow. So then this is when we start interspersing, intermingling. So it's coming up, and then where you've got some of your threads, the bits in between, you're not going right, so we're not going right up to it, you're going to go in between the threads that you've done, because you want him to look fluffy. because bumblebees always look fluffy. There we go, first one. So you just keep doing the same thing, just coming across and then making sure that these threads go in between some of the other ones. The reason that we're starting at his bum is because we want everything to overlap as we're going down. And it might be when you've done a bit of this, you might think, oh, actually I want to bring a little bit of the white back up. And what you need to make sure with your stitching is these ones are going upwards, then these ones start coming across, these ones come across and they come across. So it creates that shape as well of your bumblebee. So vary the length of your stitches, so some will be slightly longer, some will be smaller, and it sort of starts creating that illusion of things being a bit fluffy. And go right just over the edge of your pencil. Well, I've drawn in pencil, which I know won't come off. So once you've gone to one end, from one side to the other, then decide whether or not you want to go back then and do some more that just intersperse with the yellows that you've just done. So it's quite nice as well using different threads. If you don't have different thicknesses of thread and you've just got your stranded cottons, then just use like 1 strand, 2 strand, 3 strands. I probably wouldn't go up to 6, but you could do if you wanted to. I suppose it depends on how big you end up drawing your bumblebee. I've drawn mine to fit, but even with the black, I think I will just use 3 strands. So the end of his bum is yellow and white, and then we're going into a black phase. So do a few of your yellows that are going into that black section. Oh, what have I done there? Not pulled one of them through. Oh dear, what's happened there? What have I done? Oh, that's that one. That's that one. Oh, not too much of a disaster. Let's give it a pull, just so it's keeping them straight. There we go. Okay. The needle felt like then it didn't want to work. Let's bring a yellow on the outside there. Bring that in. The outside of the yellow. Bring it in. So to create that fluffy bit around the edge, start with your thread on the outside of your pencil and then just take it in to your bumblebee. Right, I think that's enough yellow. Let's tie that off at the back. Love bumblebees. Scissors. Okay, so that's my yellow done. First bit of yellow. There we go. You can see I've built that bit up, so now I'm going to come in with the black. So don't be tempted to do full lengths to fill it. Still keep your stitching quite short. So there is a temptation to go, oh, I'm just filling this in, I'll just do some really big stitches. But when you look at the, I don't know, is it called fur on a bumblebee? It is really little stitches, and it's using the little stitches that will really start making it look fairly realistic. I love it once you start adding the black, because you get that definite contrast. So make sure you bring your black again into your yellow. So I'm just going in between little stitches, so in between my yellows. I mean, my yellow's quite a thick thread, so you can even take your needle straight through the yellow, but I'm just going to try and get it so that it's just going in between. Begin to curve it round because this is underneath. So again, when you get to your edge, go from your outside in, and that'll just give you that lovely little edge that gives that illusion of it being fluffy. And again, vary the length of your stitches. Now, where I've got the line between the black and the yellow, don't just finish on that line, because you need to take, again, some of your black into the yellow. And you just keep going, really. So you'll notice I'm not going up to the line, I'm going about halfway across my shape. Again, little stitches. In. So you should slowly start seeing that fabric, whatever you've chosen as your background. Just give it a pull. Slowly beginning to disappear. Again, vary the length of your stitches, but butt them right up to the last colour. So you've got some stitches that are going in between, and then you've got others that hit, I suppose, where that last colour went down. So I'm just going to keep working my way all the way around, doing exactly the same thing, blending one with another. I'll just get to the edge and show you that. The other thing that's quite nice with this is because you're building up quite a lot of threads, it becomes quite chunky, so it sort of has a bit of a relief effect, so it looks like, or it feels like, it's actually standing off the surface. So when you're coming back across, really have a look at that blending into your yellow, because once you start going back the other side, you just blend in black and black. So you want to make sure you've blended your little edges before you start going back in the other direction, because it's building on top of itself as it's going around. So some of these are butting right up to the yellows. If you've got a little gap, just come in with a little stitch, just fill it in. Okay, so I'm coming up again, next layer. So do a few stitches outside in. So I'm beginning to come across with these outside stitches because we're going up the back of our bumblebee bee. Have the odd little stitch. Around the edge you can have little stitches with tiny little gaps, because you've sort of, I suppose, got that idea that it's very light and fluffy. So again, still come in and blend in between your black stitches now as you're coming back down the other way. So just find your stitches, just get your needle and go in between. So just coming back across, find a little stitch, come in between and just tuck it in. And then I'll finish the black, and then I'll add the yellow, and then black, and then we keep going. And once we've done all the body, then we'll go back and look at adding legs and wings. So filling in, so that's all I'm going to keep doing. I love it once you start adding the black on, because it starts looking a bit like a bumblebee. So I'll just carry on stitching, and then I'll come back and explain how to do your legs and your wings. My mouse has stopped working. There we go. Right, see you in a minute. Right, okay, that was quite a chunk of my time building up the little body there of our little bumblebee. Kind of cute. Right, so little legs. Legs are really cute done with a chain stitch, just a connecting chain stitch just to build up the legs. So I've just drawn them on in pencil. So your chain stitch, this is where you make a loop. You're going to go back down where you came up and make a little loop on the joint of his leg. Then do another one. There we go. Pull it quite tight. Go that down. There we go. Next little leg. So the one that's in front, start that one off in the actual body of your bee, and it sort of creates that illusion that is a real little chap. So pull that. Do some of them on a bit of an angle, because then it looks like as well that he's got a little bit of movement to him. It's kind of cute. So then this is the one that's in the front. Oops. So for this one I was using my pearl thread rather than my stranded threads. I just thought it'd just give a better line really. This one's coming from behind, so just get that one so it's just on the edge of your colour. So it's just a little one here. Go. To the back, tie it off. Oops, sorry. Forget sometimes where my my mat is and where the camera is. Okay, so there's his little legs. Starts coming alive now. Right, little antennae. Oh, this is kind of cute. Kind of cute. Right, antennae, I'm going to do little pistol stitches. 2. That's 1, and then your other one, bring that one out of the actual head. Again, you're sort of creating that illusion that one's in front of the other one. Move that one. Yeah, maybe there. That's it. Just tie that one off. And then I'm going to use a grey just to outline the wings. So the wings, the front wing needs to come in the body. So when I was doing my stitching, you can see I actually left a little gap where the wing comes in. So I'm going to do a back stitch. So this wing comes into the body. So you could do a chain stitch, stem stitch, whatever you want, but I think because I've built up the body so much, I just want to keep this kind of simple. The bit I hadn't planned on was having the holes in the fabric and my bee actually going over it, so I'm going to have to maybe do a couple of bigger stitches just to get across that gap. There we go. So the front wing, take that out of that body and bring it back onto the body, and then the other one goes from behind the body. There we go. I've enjoyed doing this. Quite intense. I always think whenever I do the video as well and then do it on a little bit of a fast forward, you just think, oh, that's insane. So I think it probably took me nearly 50 minutes maybe to do the whole of the body. Quite nice sitting and doing it. But that's why we like stitching. It's really going to be a focus for next year with the 52 stitches if you're continuing to join me. I'm looking forward to starting that. Can't believe we're just going to be starting it in 6 weeks time. It's crazy. You start off these projects at the start of the year and then you're not that far off finishing. It's like, oof, where did that time go? So this wing comes into the body, and then the other one it sort of just overlaps the body ever so slightly. This is the bit that I'm going to find a bit of a challenge now, is actually stitching this round that lacy bit. Oh, printer's just decided to wake up. Well, either that or somebody in my house is about to start printing. Freaks me out a little bit when printers do that, because it's on. Every so often it has to just like wake itself up a little bit. Right, let's see what we're going to do here. Hopefully I'm going to be able to catch it. How far up do I need to go? Try up there. That's there. Oh, there's family wandering around now. No doubt somebody's probably going to stick their head in. Right, so I'm going to try and keep that in the lace. That's delicate. Oh, it's kind of working. Take some smaller stitches. These things are set to try us. Shows that I don't always plan what I'm doing, but there's always a solution to whatever you decide to do. Just might take a little bit of thinking about, or a bit of an adjustment. There we go. Yay! Managed it. Gosh, that's some loopy stitching on the back. Lucky thing you can't see the back of what I'm doing. Right, then the last little bit I was going to do was coming back to my yellow. Now, so you could add flowers or anything. Actually, as a backing piece, it would be quite nice actually to have some fabric that had a flower on it, and you could have your bee sort of cheat a little bit. But all I want to do is just do a few French knots. As if it's just taken off, and there's a little bit of pollen in the air. Two, three, tie that off. I'd normally just move straight down and carry on stitching, but I think it'll distort my piece. So I'll do it properly, cut things off. Oops. So the thing when you've got knots behind and you're doing a French knot is to make sure that your needle doesn't go through the knot on the back. That happens to me so many times. Two, three. Could always pop some little French knots as well along his legs so that he looks like he's got his pollen. So it's up to you. I'm sure some of you will come up with some genius things. I've just suddenly thought now you could have had him on a little honey pot. There we go. Gosh, might need one more, maybe at that other side. There we go. Nice and flat. Let's tie that off again. Nearly there. Gosh, it's been quite an epic one this week. Busy bees. While I'm busy doing this, the sun's just come out. So it was meant to be. Haha. There's a bit of a pun. Go, just pop one little one just there, just to balance it up. There we go. Done. Dundee dusted. So I've just got to trim it. And I think somewhere, I was busy looking through all my stuff yesterday, and I think I've got a little bee trinket, so I might pop that on the bottom of my flag once I've got him attached. So just trim him out. And that's our flag. There we go. 47. Little busy bees. There we go. He's kind of cute, isn't he? So, happy Friday, everybody. Hope you enjoy stitching that, and I will see you next week. See you later. Love and hugs and happy stitching.